Good morning, boys and girls. We are on page 93, lesson 13, problem set. Please make sure that you are turning to page 93. Please make sure that you are turning to page 93 in your math book. If you need time to pause this so the students can get to page 93, please do. Okay, this is problem number 1. Use a right angle template and straight edge to draw at least 4 sets of parallel lines in the space below. So remember last time that we talked about parallel lines. Parallel lines are lines that go for up and down or diagonally or left and right, but these lines never intersect. So that's what parallel lines are. Okay, so distance between them continues to go along straight as possible, but they never meet each other, intersect. So for the first question, it says here to use a right angle template and straight edge to draw at least 4 sets of parallel lines in the space below. So when they say straight edge, they're talking about a ruler. They want you to use a ruler. And if you don't want to use a ruler, that's fine. You can freehand, but with a ruler, you can see exactly what they're talking about. So we're just drawing a bunch of parallel lines right here. So we have one right here. Excuse me. And we have another one right here. So this is one parallel lines. And then we have another set of parallel lines right over here. And parallel lines, the distance can be very far apart from each other. So I can even draw one like this, and they are still parallel lines because even though the distance seems like a lot of distance, they still are parallel lines. They are the same kind of lines that go from right to left. Another one would look like this. Maybe I want to draw one diagonally. They can be super close together but never meet. So these are all parallel lines. So I want you to draw parallel lines in your math book. Please make sure that you're drawing them. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now if you need time to pause this, please do so the students have enough time to draw these lines. I'm going to move on to problem number 2. For problem number 2, it says here, circle the segments that are parallel. So now I'm going to look at them and I'm going to figure out which lines are parallel. So looking here, these lines, they look parallel. And you can tell by just getting your ruler or your straight edge, and you're going to extend that line and see if they actually meet at any point. These two lines don't meet, so this one I'm going to circle. And then I'm going to extend this one and see if they meet. This one continues to extend. It's not going to meet either, so I'm going to circle this one. Those are parallel lines. And then I'm going to extend these lines and see if they meet. Oh, now, sorry, let me just kind of move this a little bit so you can actually see that. So if you look at this one, if I were to continue drawing it, it's like being drawn way past my math book. But if I continue to keep drawing it, they actually meet. Look how the lines are starting to form kind of like a triangle. So at the end, they're going to end up meeting. So these are not parallel lines. I would cross this one out. Okay, now let's see this one over here. So this line is going to extend. And they look like they never meet, so I'm going to circle that one. Those are parallel lines. And for this one right here, I'm going to extend this one and see if they ever meet. I don't think these lines would meet. Oh, maybe they're not parallel. Let's see. Let me extend the line, see if it actually meets at any point or gets smaller. Okay, so they do eventually end up meeting. If you look at the line right here, it looks like the lines are going to slowly end up meeting together, so these are not parallel lines. And then this one is a little more obvious because this is slanted towards this way, but if you want to continue drawing it, you definitely can. But these lines are not parallel to each other either. Notice that they're about to meet. The lines are getting smaller, so that means they are not parallel lines. And then we have these two lines right here, which are definitely parallel lines because they will not meet. So these are my parallel lines. I'm going to label them so you can see it more clearly. I'm going to use another color pen. So we have one parallel lines, two parallel lines, three parallel lines, and four parallel lines. And the other ones are not parallel lines. Okay, so this is a moment if you need to pause the video so the students can write this down, you definitely can. And notice that the reason why they're parallel is because the lines never meet. They never touch each other, they never meet, but these eventually are going to meet, even if it kind of looks like it's not. If you notice that the lines are going to get smaller or closer and closer together, that's when you know that they are not parallel lines. Okay, so I'm going to turn the page, and the next page is page 94, problem set. This lesson is pretty short, so I want to make sure we practice a little bit longer. Okay, so this is page 94. Let's give it a moment to zoom in, and there we go. Page 94, it says use your straight edge to draw a segment parallel to each segment through the given point. So in this case, they want you to draw a parallel line next to the ones that are already given to us, okay? So right here, there is one line right here, and I'm going to draw the next one right over. So I'm going to draw it straight down. So we have one line over there, and then I'm going to make this one parallel as well. And now we have a parallel line. And then this one, there's a letter T right here, so I'm going to make sure I draw my parallel line. And then this one is, and I'm going to move it over slowly, slide it over, make sure that that is a parallel line for C. For D, I'm going to make sure I slide down my ruler, and then I can draw my parallel line. Okay? And you notice that they are parallel lines because they line up, right? Oh, sorry, we didn't get to see that one very well. So this one, they line up like this. Okay? And then we have E. What we're going to do is I'm going to slide this one over and then draw my parallel line. And it's okay if it's not perfect. I'm not expecting you guys to have perfect lines. And then this one over here, I'm going to slide it over and draw another parallel line. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a moment to draw these lines. This is a good time to pause the video and let the students write and draw the parallel lines. Okay, now for number 4. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can actually see this one. For number 4, it says draw 2 different parallel lines to line L. That's a cursive L, so cursive L like that, but they made it very fancy looking. So this is line L right here, and they want us to draw 2 different lines that are parallel to line L. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw a parallel line all the way down here. And I can draw one that is super close to the line as well. You see that? So all of these 2 lines are parallel. Even if the space between them is smaller or wider, it's still a parallel line. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a moment to write that down. This is a good time to pause the video. Now we're going to move over to page, whoa. Oh no, give me a second, boys and girls. I have to reconnect that. Whenever I touch the wire on my hover cam, it disconnects. But here we go. Let's make sure I flip this and rotate. There we go. Okay, this is page 95. I'll be more careful about touching that wire. Page 95, it says use your right angle template and straight edge to draw at least 3 sets of parallel lines in the space below. So same idea, we're going to make sure that we draw parallel lines, and remember parallel lines do not meet. That is when 2 straight lines in a plane do not intersect at any point, and that's what we call a parallel line. So I'm going to draw a few more, just like what we did in the problem set. I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to draw a straight parallel line, super close together. One that is super wide apart. Another one that is slanted. And all of these are parallel lines. Okay? And a reminder, parallel lines never intersect. There are 2 lines that do not meet. 2 lines that do not meet. And notice that they're straight lines. They're not crooked lines, right? So we're not drawing like zigzags or anything like that. We're drawing straight lines. Okay, problem number 2. It says circle the segments that are parallel. So same thing as the last problem set. We are going to make sure we extend our lines and see if they intersect. If they intersect, that means that they are not parallel lines. So I'm going to extend this line right here, as well as the bottom line. Okay, and then over here, I'm going to extend this line, as well as the bottom. Okay, so this one right here is not a parallel line, so I'm not going to circle it. You can cross it off if you want to, or leave it alone. Over here, I'm pretty sure this one's a parallel line. Yep, they look like they are the exact same measurements across from each other. So I'm going to circle this one as well. And over here, we have another set of intersecting lines. And you're wondering, Ms. Tran, how do you know that? Well, if you draw it all the way, you'll notice that it's going to get smaller and smaller. See that? They're kind of getting smaller and smaller. So that is not a parallel line. I'm not going to circle that one. This one right here is a parallel line. This one, you can already tell that it's going to meet. It's crooked. So if I were to extend it, this is what you'll see. And they are going to meet at one point. So this is not a parallel line. And these 2 are parallel lines. You'll notice that the distance from each other are going to be the same no matter how long you draw the lines. So I'm going to circle this one as well. Now, this is a good time to pause the video and let the students draw these lines. It might take a moment. I'm about to turn the page. The next page is page 96. So please make sure that you're turning to page 96 in your math book. Okay. So on page 96, it says, use your straight edge to draw a segment parallel to each segment through the given point. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make sure that I draw a parallel segment to each point. So right here we have one parallel line, and I'm going to slide my ruler down and draw this one. Okay, and then for this one over here, for problem B, I'm going to do the same thing, slide my ruler and draw the line. Okay, and then for C, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make sure I slide my ruler and draw the line. And for D, I'm going to do same thing. I'm going to make sure that I slide my ruler and draw my parallel lines. For next one, there's a little dot W right there. Slide my ruler and draw the parallel line. For F, I'm going to slide my ruler and draw my line. Okay, and now this is a good time to pause the video so students have time to draw these lines. Just a reminder, boys and girls, even though I am not here today, I will be making sure to check your work. So please make sure that you are writing everything down. If I am drawing a line, you are also drawing a line. If I'm writing down words, you are also writing down the words. Okay, so now I'm going to show you number 4. For problem number 4, they ask you draw 2 different lines parallel to line L. So this is line L right here, fancy cursive letter L. And I'm going to draw a line, and you can draw any line, but I'm going to draw a line super close. And then I'm going to draw a parallel line super far. So maybe like right here. Whoa, you guys cannot see that. Let me move my camera a little bit higher. Okay. So it looks like we are done with our homework and our problem set. So once you guys are done, you're going to flip to your exit ticket. So I'm going to close this right now. And I am going to be jumping to the exit ticket. So boys and girls, please make sure that you're pulling out your Chromebooks at this time and jumping to the exit ticket. Where can you find the exit ticket? You can find it on your Google Classroom. So please make sure that you are clicking on your Google Classroom. Let me pull it up. So this is the exit ticket for Module 6, Lesson number 13. And the questions we have here ask you, are these lines parallel? You are going to answer questions 1, 2, and 3, and tell me if those lines are parallel. It's the same question. Are these lines parallel? Yes or no? Problem number 2, are these lines parallel? Yes or no? Number 3, are these lines parallel? Yes or no? Once you are done with those questions, you're going to make sure you click the button Submit. And remember, Ms. Tran can see if you submitted your answers or not. And remember that our report cards are due very soon. It's almost the end of the year, so that means that I'm still collecting grades and I'm inputting all of these exit tickets. If you're missing an exit ticket, it is a 0. So please make sure that you are completing your exit tickets. Okay, boys and girls? Now, after you are done with your exit ticket, you have may-dos that you may do. Now, this is up to, it's may-dos, meaning that you may do the work that is on the board that's given to you. If you have questions, please make sure you're asking your substitute teacher. And that is all for today's lesson.